4 members of the Conservation Commission present. There would be myself, Peter Crane, Skip Clark, Jared Gentolucci, and Melissa Danza. We have a quorum present, and so I am opening the December 15th meeting of the Rutland Conservation Commission at 6:01 p.m. I am going to waive the reading of the really long, intense, and now well-rehearsed description of the fact that this is a remote meeting, and everybody knows it. Everybody just behave, raise your hand with the Zoom feature when you'd like to ask a question and make a comment, that's fine. There are times when that's not allowed because we're talking as commissioners amongst ourselves, but a lot of the time we'll also allow the public in to virtually any discussion that we're having. Let us start with the minutes of December 1. Let's see. Skip, you weren't here that last time, were you? Or were you? Oh, you were here.
Yes, I was.
My mistake.
The only one I missed was a selectmen's meeting, but that's all right.
Yeah, that's not important or anything.
Yeah.
Tamiko, small typo here that is pointing out in the RDA for Harriet White.
Got it. I'll fix it right now while we're talking about it.
And in truth, I scanned this. I didn't see anything else big. Anybody have any other comments about the minutes for the last meeting?
I'm all set.
I'm good too, Peter.
Good. Then I'll take a motion.
Motion to accept.
Second.
Roll call vote. Gentolucci.
Aye.
Danza.
Aye.
Clark.
Aye.
Crane, aye. Those minutes are accepted. This person. Can you all hear those dings?
No.
Yes.
Oh, so some can and some can't. That's even more awesome. That's just Zoom telling me somebody wants to get in. So let us go down our agenda. Pretty much in order tonight, I think. We're going to start with a submission for Ann Weiser, 28 and 30 Finn Park Road. Is there someone here to speak on that?
Good evening.
Hey, Stephen, how you doing?
Good. How are you, Peter?
I'm fine, thanks.
I suppose I will be here representing the Gwither family at 2830 Finn Park Road. The plan submitted to the board reflects a new house with associative utility connections, new well, and leaching field with septic system. It's just northeast of Demon Pond, and if there are any questions regarding the proposal, I'd like to field the questions.
This is directly on the pond, right? Because these are going to be dock structures, right?
Yes, those are existing.
Right.
Actually.
And so this used to be divided pretty much down the middle.
Yes, so there have been actually 3 parcels on this piece. They're not shown, the parcel lines. However, because of common ownership, they're all combined, and the proposal is to, erect one structure with utilities.
That's fine. Did there used to be other, I see the well you're talking about abandoning here and replacing with this one. Was there only one well on the property?
Yes. So the well at the bottom, I believe, was servicing these structures towards the lake. I guess they were saunas and steam rooms and sheds.
Oh, that's what these were?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think the big one, that one right there, is actually the sauna, and then the 2 uphill are, I guess storage sheds at this point.
Okay.
Where the existing house, the proposed house, is going, currently stands 2 smaller houses. The parcel line kind of follows that northerly zoning setback
Mhm.
line. So there was two structures right around that area. They were smaller.
So did there used to be a cesspool or two on this lot?
Yes, now that you actually mention that, that layer is not shown on the drawing, but roughly where the septic tank is, the northerly leach line in the D box, there's an old cesspool there that's going to be abandoned.
Okay. Only one?
Yes,
Oh, so it was shared between the two houses that are the two structures now.
I believe, yes.
Mm-hmm.
It's tough to say, but that
Okay.
is roughly the location of the existing cesspool.
That's fine. Other questions from the commission?
No, I'm good.
Tamika, do we have everything we need for this?
We do. I had let them know that I believe January 5th is our next meeting, that we can schedule the hearing, and I didn't know if you guys wanted to do a site walk sometime in between then.
Well, let's the easy answer first. Yes, it's January 5. You're exactly correct. And doing a site walk. Let's see, we're about to get 10 to 14 inches of snow, and that's on top of the, well, I don't know how much is on the ground there. Well, we ought to at least try for a site walk. Actually, one other question. It looks like, if I'm reading this right, it looks like the property line is here. Is that really the property line? And this is not?
Yes, at some point that occurred. We can't say for sure when. However, that is the existing property line. Since this plan was created, we have pinned the property corners.
Okay. All righty. So let's, gosh, how much email do I have now? Okay. 1, 2, 3. No, I could. So when would people like to do a site walk for this? No matter what we're guessing at this point anyway, but.
Do we want to wait until like the 2nd to see if we can get some snow melt in a weird, obscure, warm day?
That's okay with me. That's fine, quite honestly.
I think we'd probably have better luck on the 2nd than the Christmas weekend.
Yeah, and Christmas weekend, jeepers. So this is at what? This is 28 and 30 Finn Park, is that right?
Yes.
Our traditional 10 a.m.
That should be sufficient.
All righty.
That works for me.
For better or worse, you're in my calendar.
Yes.
So I think that covers that one. I don't think there's anything else we need to do tonight. So let's open a hearing for notice of intent for Tyler Citarella on Campbell Street, Lot A. Is there someone to speak for this?
Yes. Hi, Pete. Hi, everybody. This is Julian.
Hey, Julian, how you doing?
Good. How's it going? Sorry, I hope you guys did a site walk. I don't know if you did or not.
Well, if we didn't, it's going to be a lot harder tomorrow.
I couldn't make it last Saturday, but well, what we've got is a single family house proposed on almost a 4-acre parcel, where we've kept the 15-foot no touch area.
Mhm.
We have no work proposed in that area at all. We try to go as far away from the resources as we possibly could. It's a triangular piece of land, and there's quite a bit of wetlands. So there's a big wetland in the way back of it. So we're brought it all towards Campbell Street itself on the far upper right-hand corner.
Right.
The single-family house, 3-bedroom, pretty much as it's shown on the plan. We propose the wattles with the silt fence to meet what you guys like to see, and I said we kept the no work. It's actually further out of the 15-foot than even the 15-foot, just to make sure that we keep a nice buffer.
Wow, that well is only 104 feet. There's a scale. My mind hasn't grasped this scale because it looks much farther away. Okay, yeah, we see that. We see that. And you're outside the 400.
Yeah,
Makes everybody
that's
happy.
deceiving because that's 104 feet from the reserve area.
Oh, from the reserve. Oh,
Yeah,
right.
So we got to keep it. So if that ever, so that's why you are correct. It does look further because it is.
Okay. Questions from the commission?
Did we get a number for this one?
Yes, we did actually,
Yep.
yesterday, and there were no comments.
Yeah.
Peter, if I may,
Yes.
I'm going to start asking this question because it's asked on the order of conditions and we don't always discuss it. Julian, what is the closest point to the wetland?
Closest point to the wetlands, I would say a little bit of grading, a little further back.
Yeah, the grading here is
Probably, if that's 15 foot, probably 20 feet
Okay.
is a little bit of a grading line.
right.
So. I just got a question on your 15. I've been trying to hold that as much as that's pretty much what you guys want to see, right? On all, whenever we can. Is that?
Towards the end of Joe's tenure, he tried to extend that to 25. So we really, really like 25, but we know that there's no statutory authority that goes with that right now.
Okay. Well, if it does go, just let me know.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
I try to
Oh.
keep it as far away as we can, if we can possibly be. So.
And we appreciate that. This site, I understand the topology is the topology. So
Right.
Can there be something put on the left-hand side along where the closest points to the wetland edges along that 15-foot side? Because that's kind of going to be yard.
Just to like, what were you guys putting sign? You guys going with the signs or boulders or what's the consensus for this?
I think either or could work. You know, I know aesthetics is sometimes a factor, you know, for homeowners, but I know boulders are a lot better visual, or like pheno stakes, or just, you know, if there's kind of some wooded area that you can stick a tree with one of those, what are those screws called that you can put in, but you can't really get out, into the trees. But if there's a specific preference, you know.
And put a wetland area sign. Is that what you're looking to do?
Yeah.
Okay, well, you can condition that. That's not a problem.
Okay.
That seems to be what's happening everywhere. So
Yeah.
no problem. How far apart? If you just 50 feet apart, 25 feet apart.
Maybe 25, 30 feet. I think it could be something that, you know, you could, once the construction is finished, you know, usually I've been proposing a condition that just the proposed placement and marker type shall be approved by the commission prior to
Okay.
the compliance. So you
That
can
works.
just, you know, literally take a pen on a plan and say, does these spots look good?
Yep. Okay, we could do that. No problem.
other questions or comments from the commission? Are there questions or comments from the public? Seeing none. Okay, we have the number, we've seen the plan. are we ready to close this hearing? Is there a good reason to keep it open?
Peter, I have a reason.
Okay.
My thought is we're 3 weeks out from our next meeting. We would exceed the 21 days if we're not going to also approve the orders tonight, which we still want to do special. So maybe we should hold off for now.
Or
That's
you could,
Go ahead,
we
Julian.
we can give you whatever time, you can close the hearing and have the time to do the orders, no problem with that.
So Julian, would you be okay if I sent you a
Absolutely.
21-day extension request? Okay.
Yes, send that email out to me and we'll get that right back to you tomorrow morning.
Okay.
So please close the hearing and go forward.
Julian, you can't fool me. The more we close the hearing, the less things can go wrong, right?
That's right. You know, on both sides.
That's right. That's right.
So, perfect.
So given that we'll get the extension for the orders, I would, is there another reason not to close tonight? Because I think we know enough to get the orders done next time. Am I wrong about that? I don't hear anything, anybody objecting.
Yeah, I'm all set.
Yeah, I think that's fine, Peter. Peter, I did have just one quick comment. I was looking at the plan again.
Please do.
Julian, you mentioned the erosion control barrier. I think you said it would be the silt fence with the wattles, but the detail only shows the wattles. Can you add the silt fence to the detail?
Oh, we could do that.
Okay.
We could do that and then put that in the conditions.
Okay.
So if that, what do you guys want to see? That's, it's gone back and forth. So I know for the next ones. Do you want fence and wattles or wattles themselves?
I think it's just mostly we've been concerned with the areas that are closer to the wetland edge having just a double barrier.
Okay. So can in this one we can condition it, and if I'm ever doing anything within 15 feet, I'll make sure they're both.
Deal.
On other projects, say, what would be the cutoff? 50 feet of undisturbed, and you can just go wattles.
That makes sense.
Just put that'll work.
I mean, if it's flat too. So.
Right. Right.
Yeah, that's a good point. Topography definitely plays a part.
Yeah.
There.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, we could do that. No problem with that either.
All right, I'll motion to close the hearing for the Campbell Street notice of intent.
Second it.
Roll call. What order should we do this time? Gentilucci,
Aye.
Danza,
Aye.
Clark,
Aye.
Crane, aye. Okay, that's all set. We'll get those orders in. Anybody who has notes about them, send them to Mika and we'll finalize them and issue them on January 5.
Thank you.
Great.
If I don't
Thank
talk to you guys, have a wonderful Christmas. The best you can
Thanks.
do.
You too, Julian.
Thank
too,
you.
Julian.
Thanks, you too.
Bye.
All right, let us continue. That's right, we're going to now continue the hearing for Mark and Mary Elbag at 26 Finn Park Road. That's the NOI. Oh, right, this is the work that was done for the wall on the beach. Okay. We have the number. The work's
No,
been done.
we do not have the number,
We
Peter.
don't have the number yet?
No, we don't. Mark had, Kimberly Roth had asked for electronic copies, and so Mark just got those over to her, so they still haven't issued a number.
Oh.
As far as I know, Mark can correct me if I'm wrong, but I haven't seen it come in.
Yeah, I did. I mailed everything in and according to their requirements, but you have to find out they also need it scanned because none of them are in the office. So I got everything put together and scanned and sent over. The other comment that was brought up was they were looking for a site plan, but I told them I was going to request that no site plan be prepared for this one just because the work was so limited.
All right. I don't think anybody have any questions or comments about this? Because, well, I don't have to go into it again. All right, I'd like a motion to continue to January 5, please.
Peter, can I just ask, are you guys waiving the site plan, making a site plan exception? Should I note that?
I don't think it will serve anybody's purpose to hold this up for a site plan. We've been there, we've seen it, we know the work. Melissa, do you disagree with that? And please feel free to disagree with me anytime you think I'm saying the wrong thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's good to have something on record, even if it's just a quick sketch. I know we have the photos. I'm just trying to think if Mark, do you have anything like simple that would at least show this area so in the future we kind of have a better record of what was done?
No, I haven't prepared anything to date.
Okay.
Is there a site plan from when the house was built? So you could use that as sort of a basis.
Yeah, I'm sure there was an old filing from when the house was built that's on record. That's a good point.
Yeah, I would say if you have an old site plan that just even just
I was hoping you guys have that. I certainly don't, but it was filed with the Rutland Concom about 2004 or 5 maybe.
I don't have high hopes, you guys.
Yeah.
I didn't expect you would. But if
Or maybe
I'll
if
look
you
see.
could, yeah, or even maybe just putting it like an aerial photo and just kind of notating that.
You can make a snapshot from the GIS database, for example.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can do something off of GIS as long as it doesn't involve survey.
No, I think just having some sort of better picture and aerial package would be good, for just understanding. And I think it'll go to show for the COC we have later, which we couldn't figure out what it was because it didn't have a site plan listed. So I think just that little bit would help just in the future.
I'll see if I can put something together.
Okay.
Simple. Yeah, not a problem.
Right, so we're not looking for a formal site plan, but we are looking for documentation. There, I'll say it that way.
Yes, I would agree.
Sounds good. If it comes up, you might see an email from me to DEP. I would assume I just copy you, Peter, on that, just to expedite getting the DEP file number and closing this thing out.
Yeah, that's fine. And in fact, well, copy me and also copy. Here's a hint for stuff that's coming soon. conservation@townofrutland.org.
Sounds good. Thank you.
You're welcome. So unless there's something else, I would like a motion to continue.
Motion to continue.
Second.
All in favor? Sorry. Roll call vote. Gentilucci.
Aye.
Danza.
Aye.
Clark.
Aye.
Rain eye. All right. And that's that one. So now I'm going to continue the public hearing for the notice of intent for Carol Viner Emerald Road, Lot 5. So we have some updates. This is a revised plan still, but I think for the questions that we had, there's a revised drawing for the crossing, and there is a specific drawing plan and plant list. Melissa, do you get a chance to review this at all?
Oh, I keep muting and unmuting. Sorry. I did look quickly. I had it up. Hold on 1 second. Is it under lot 4 or lot 5?
Lot 5.
Okay, I was looking at the wrong one. Okay. I know I didn't go through like every plant to compare it to the list, but I think just having the statement that we have already in our special conditions kind of reiterates that,
Yes.
that they just must be native. But I
Okay.
think it looked decent for what they were for fac wet plants.
What did we, I know we got a revised crossing plan. Can anyone refresh my memory why we needed a new plan? Or was this just done because, was this something we were waiting for, I guess is my question.
So if I could remind, so the last meeting we had questions regarding the crossing and basically the doubling of the area. So we had to add notes regarding the soil amendments that were going to be brought to the site.
Yes.
And I recalled that at some point during the conversation, we were talking about possibly doing a planting and replication plan kind of in more detail to get a more precise view of what it was going to look like. We do have, a note that says if any, vegetation can be transplanted, it should. And the plant list specification table, those are actually the primary, vegetation that is going to be removed with the crossing. So those were, whether they're transplanted or trucked onto the site, that's how we came up with that decision. And in the meantime, before those were rooted, we recommended to put down the New England wet mix throughout the area to keep invasive species from taking over or, restricting the growth and rooting of the transplanted vegetation. We also added the note regarding, any material that's brought onto the site should be free of trash. And I believe those were the main concerns regarding the plan last meeting.
Okay. All right, take care.
Okay. So do we have other questions or comments from the commission?
Stephen, do you know the time frame for construction is yet? I guess my question stems from I have been looking into the wetland seed mix recently, and they've been saying that the best time to put down that seed is in November. So just wondering on how that would play out with construction, if there's too much overlap of when it would just be bare if invasive species do come in. I don't think that area is too bad. I'm not necessarily that concerned, but just wondering if there was a sequence.
Right now, there is no sequence. I believe the property owner is going for the permits and currently is looking for a buyer. However, there is no buyer on deck right now. And as for the construction, I believe it would not be happening, this winter. And if it does sell, could be next year. I understand your concern with, being so close to the winter and possibly harming any, vegetation that's transplanted or planted in that area.
Yeah, and I know that seed mix just isn't always cheap, so if it doesn't take, then it's
Oh
not
yeah,
the best putting it back down.
yeah. So we put a note on there underneath that table that it is from, I believe it is New England Wetland Plant Inc. So we believe that if someone were to go into that manufacturer and ask, during the particular time it would not be good, that they'd be instructed that it'd be best to wait, before they'd actually make the sale. So that's why we noted the actual manufacturer they should, get this seed mix from, because they'd also be able to assist whoever was purchasing it in, that aspect of it.
Perfect. No, I like that notation. I think that makes a lot of sense.
Other questions or comments? Anyone from the public have questions or comments?
Oh, additionally, I would like to add, we also, one of the concerns was added a 2-year review period.
Oh, that's right, DEP wanted that, that's right.
Yeah, so we did in fact update that on the plan, that it would be able to be reviewed for a 2-year grow period.
Are there any questions or concerns outstanding on this NOI? Is there a good reason not to close tonight?
I would just ask Stephen if they would be okay
Same
with
thing.
also signing, yep, the extension waiver.
Yes, I believe that will be okay. I'll inform Norman, as I will not be seeing him tomorrow, but I will have him look for that tomorrow morning.
Great, thanks, Stephen.
No problem. Thank you, board, and have a good holiday.
Thanks, you too.
Take care.
Then let's take a motion to close.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, Gentilucci,
Aye.
Danza,
Aye.
Clark,
Aye.
Crane, aye. All right. Wow, we're going through this faster than I thought we would. That can only mean something bad's going to happen later, right? Yes. This one and this one and this one. Good. So those, yay, we're through the hearings. Certificate of compliance for 38 Brintnal. All right. So I did a drive-by and I had a phone conversation with Andrew Brandt, the owner. He is still mightily upset about things that happened, and oops, just a second, I've let somebody else in. And I understand that he was put through things that just don't seem right to me, but he agrees that the core problem that he was having before has been solved. His concern that he and I talked about briefly is that the berm on Brintnal may not be reconstructed correctly, and so he may be getting more water than he should during rain events. So that's the question. That's a question as much for the planning board, but actually more for the planning board in terms of the berm itself. But the problem with our weather is we're not going to see it now, I don't think. So I'm not sure what the most right thing to do with this certificate is.
Do we have an order for the roadway?
Probably not.
Section? No.
I would be surprised if we did. This is our previous orders and conditions. Now let me see if I can find. No, all we have, we just have a certificate of that it was built according to plans.
Right, but do you remember if there's like a overall NOI that was for like the stormwater and infrastructure for this portion of Brintnal?
No, there's no chance that would have happened.
Okay.
Brintnal is too old. In fact, Brintnal was made a scenic way in what, 1979 or 75. So it's been the way it is for a long time. I would be shocked if we had anything in our orders for this property that involved the road itself. We knew that there was going to be a steep drop off because that's the way the plan was written. But the truth is, this is all half a guess because I don't remember anymore. In fact, I'm not even sure if I was on the commission when we did the initial orders. Let me take a wild guess here, Tamika, that we don't have these orders in electronic form.
No, not that I could find, and that predates me.
Right.
And I don't know where, yeah, probably not.
So this one would just be for 38 Brintnal, right?
Correct.
So the concern is just the water coming off the road in that berm? Or is it
Yes, it's the water cut because it's a very steep drop off the road down to the level of the residence.
Right.
And so the only concern would be siltation from that very steep hill going all the way into the wetlands. That would be our only concern.
Okay.
And yeah, more than that, I can't guess how good or bad the rain events are there. So I'll bring up the berm with the planning board. That's easy for me to do, but I think that the berm itself is outside our jurisdiction.
I would agree for this NOI, yes.
And furthermore, if we take it back in history, and by that I mean before Brintnal was there, those wetlands are downhill from the opposite side of what is today Brintnal, so water always ran down there. Now, could it be more concentrated? It feels at first, no, in fact, I don't know, because if there's more stuff happening because of impervious surface on the far side of Brintnal, then it could be collecting and gathering speed on the way down to Brintnal itself. So we're back to a lot of we're not sures. What's the commission's pleasure?
If the homeowner is okay with closing out this permit because of the past problems and just possible increase of rate of, or maybe possible increased volume of water coming into the lot, I think there would have been some visible impacts by now between all of us going by throughout the last couple years. If it was, that an immediate concern, I guess. I don't think it would hurt talking to the planning board about it, or even, is it a public road? Is Brintnal public?
Yes, it is.
Or even talking to the DPW if it could be like a berm problem, curb, if they could angle the curb in a different way that catches the water a little bit differently. But I'm okay closing this COC out if everyone else is.
Well, hearing nothing, I'll give my opinion. I'll cede everybody with my opinion, which doesn't conflict with Melissa's at all, which is that yes, water runs down into the wetland, but I don't believe it's. The times I've been there, I haven't seen siltation or evidence of it. I think the hill steepness is pretty much what it has been for a very long time. So I don't think we're going to see any wetland impact from water running from Brintnal or even across Brintnal down into the wetlands here. It certainly happens, don't get me wrong, the water runs, I just don't see siltation, so I don't see anything actionable today. And he's satisfied, the landowner is satisfied with their current situation in terms of the condition of the lot. The lot looks, Jared and I have both been on the property. The lawn is taken in well. I don't think there's anything to prevent us from signing the COC. Having said that, how about we have a motion?
I'll move to issue a complete COC for 38 Brintnal.
Second.
Can I just have you amend that to include for Peter to sign?
And to have Peter sign on our behalf.
There we go. And we'll talk about that also, about the whole signature thing later in the meeting, of course. All righty. Oh yeah, so we have a second. I guess it's time for a vote. Gentilucci,
Aye.
Danza,
Aye.
Clark,
Aye.
Crane, aye. All right. So what is next? Okay. So we have the orders of condition for Miles Road. We're going to do, this is a single plan that contains both because it's easier, but we're going to do them one at a time, the orders one at a time. Did we get any specials for this? Anybody send any to Tamika for lot 1?
Peter, I haven't received any yet, but I do know that there was discussion of doing specials for both of these lots.
Yeah, I think we talked about the doubled up erosion controls, although I think that was mostly on the lot 2, but also just limiting the limit of work and pulling it in closer, which is, if this is the amended plan, it looks like they did that quite a bit.
I think so, yeah. Yeah, they definitely pulled this much closer.
Yeah, yeah, they did.
I think that was the biggest concern on lot 1.
Okay.
And
So
I
since
think,
they pulled it, sorry, go ahead.
no, and I think Tamika had gotten those pretty well in terms of just those overview conditions, which can act as both a finding in fact and a condition if they hadn't pulled it in.
Melissa,
The limit of work.
if I remember correctly, I think you had also had a comment about making it a continuous erosion control barrier, which they also addressed in this
Yeah.
resolution.
Yes, yep.
So that's all set too. And they do have silt fence and wattles for that barrier, so I that's good to see too. I think they might have had that before, but that's good that it's noted that way on the plan. I don't think I had anything else on this one.
I don't think so either.
So just to clarify, there are no special conditions for this one because they already fixed them, correct?
I would think so. I'm fine with the plan if everyone else is.
Yeah, I'm fine.
I am too.
All right, like motion to sign the orders of condition for Miles Road lot 1, allowing me to sign on behalf of the commission.
So moved with our standard conditions.
Yes.
Second.
And the fight for second. Great. So roll call. Gentilucci,
Aye.
Danza,
Aye.
Clark,
Aye.
Crane, aye. Fantastic. That's that one. So now let's do lot 2. My biggest concern with lot 2 was always, oh no. Oh, okay. Was the steepness here. I still don't know what to write because they're putting, this is a boulder wall, and they're putting the erosion controls right up against it. So nothing will get through. I like that. Well, I don't know if there's any other condition we can place on this. I mean, in terms of the wall, which is, again.
We could condition that grading and work up to the boulder wall shall be immediately stabilized during construction and following completion, in terms of having like jute mats or something put down, if
Yes.
they won't be using it for 3 consecutive days.
Yeah, it seemed to be they were amenable to the jute mats. Do I remember that correctly?
What was that?
I think I remember them saying they were amenable to the jute mats.
Yeah, I think so. Yep. So I would say, during construction, if the slope to the boulder wall is left untouched, undisturbed for more than 48 hours, it shall be, immediately stabilized with appropriate erosion controls.
I'm also thinking, based on our discussions that we've had in the last couple of meetings, that maybe some signs, because this is the edge of the wetlands. Now, I know it's not lawn, but it's a few feet from this wall.
We could have them put those wetland boundary signs on the boulders.
Oh, there's a good idea.
So we could do the stabilization one, and then boundary markers shall be reviewed and approved by the commission prior to the installation along the boundary or along the boulder wall, and shall remain in perpetuity prior to the issuance of a certificate of compliance.
Works for me. You got that, Tamika?
I'll email them to you, Tamika.
Thank you. I can only write so fast. I'm like, oh no.
Well, especially when you're thinking on the fly, it's all jumbled anyways. So
Yes, that'd be great. Thank you.
yeah.
Any other conditions for this lot? Hearing none, I'd like a motion to sign the order of conditions with 2 special orders for Miles Road, lot number 2, allowing me to sign on behalf of the commission.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, Gentilucci,
Aye.
Danza,
Aye.
Clark,
Aye.
Crane, aye. Awesome. Wow, we are just getting through everything really quickly. At least it feels that way. All right. Orders of conditions for Emerald Road, Lot 4. So this is the plan. I'm trying to remember, were there, because they had moved, the house got bumped, the driveway got moved. This is still their closest point.
Did they put boundary markers on the plan?
This is not a new plan, so I don't believe it's on this plan.
Okay. I think I sent that same condition to Tamika, just about it'll be reviewed and approved prior to the issuance of a COC.
Right.
So we can hash out the locations and type, when they're ready for that.
I'm fine with that. Any other specials on this one? Because we probably, I know we talked about it on this side. Do we want anything here that's also approaching the wetlands here along this edge?
Yeah, I think we talked about both. So having them along the driveway, and then that back edge as well, having 2 or 3. I think we were gonna start one at the corner, kind of one at the closest point, and then one a little bit further south.
Okay. Are there any other conditions we want to put on this? Hearing none. Motion to sign the order of conditions for this is lot 4, Emerald Road, with the, we had only one special, right? That covered both, or do we need 2 specials?
No, that'll cover both.
Okay, with that one special condition, allowing me to sign on behalf of the commission.
So moved.
Second.
I was gonna say, wake up, folks. Not that boring tonight, is it?
I think we've gotten so nervous about yelling over each other that now we just all wait.
You got it. You got it.
All righty, roll call. Gentilucci,
Aye.
Danza,
Aye.
Clark,
Aye.
Crane, aye. All righty. Now let me get my mouse in the right place to close out that one. All right, here we go. So let's talk about our wetlands violation concern on Glenwood Road. We sent a letter to Mr. Albag, if I recall correctly. And he's here today. So let's chat, folks. Who wants to begin?
So I did get the letter. I got it very late. You guys mailed it to the wrong address, so my neighbor actually walked it down. But
Mark, that was my fault. I apologize.
yeah, in the future, I'm 188 Glenwood.
Oh, what did I put? 198?
Yeah, no problem. But
Oh, I'm sorry, Mark.
I got it, but I didn't do much with it yet.
So was it clear what our questions were?
No, it just noted a possible wetland violation, I believe. I don't have it in front of me, but I can. I'll pull it out if you want.
So let's talk about. If you did the investigation on this one, right?
Yes, I did. And there is a small bridge going across the brook and it looks like for the kids' access. I mean, personally, I don't see any problem. I'd rather see them going over a little bridge than running themselves through the water, but that's just me.
Yeah, I don't think anybody disagrees that going over the bridge is better than going through the brook, the stream, whatever that is. I think the question becomes, what's the right process for Concom to be notified of this and get whatever our comments are before the bridge goes in? At least that's my interpretation of our discussion last time.
Well, so, Mark, you correct me if we.
Yeah, I can chime in. So it's really just a small temporary wooden structure. There's no disturbance. If there is a ruling that there is disturbance, I think it turns into like basically a MIPA filing. But it's really no different than any dock that goes in every year into Turkey Hill Pond or Demon Pond. It's just some wood sitting on logs that were actually found in the wetland.
So actually, let me ask a couple of leading questions about that. So this is a temporary structure. You actually take it out and put it back in?
No, but I definitely wouldn't classify it as permanent. And
right.
It's just,
okay.
It's just, right. It's basically a tree fort.
Right.
It's my clients here are the 9 neighborhood kids that spend hours down there.
Right.
So I got a tough client base on this one. My 4-year-old spends hours upon hours upon hours catching frogs down there.
Mm-hmm.
And my intent was to keep the kids out of that road because there's no good access down there without going in the road. And then if they do go in the road, it's a nasty corner. The cars fly, and the guardrails are right on the lane lines. So there's no walking behind the guardrail because it's all either cliff or debris. And actually, we cleared out a bunch of invasive bamboo down there.
Okay. So, given this, what is the commission's pleasure?
So, Mark, did you clear the knotweed or the bamboo for the bridge?
No, I actually knocked the bamboo down for a sight distance out of my driveway, but there's a ton of bamboo down there, so I'm trying to keep that clear. It's all, it's all crap that's been dumped down there from the road being there for 100 years, so it's all It's really all
Who
bamboo,
imported bamboo into that area?
runoffs and trash kind of on the shoulder of the road.
Hey, Mark, do you know who imported the bamboo to that area?
I don't know. It's been
Because talk about an invasive plant. Oh my God.
yeah. There's no. I mean, all you can do is cut it. There's no getting rid of it. That's for sure.
Yeah.
My grandfather had some he burnt every year for about 50 years, and it was still there.
So I'm sorry, Melissa, if I cut you off. Did you have other questions or comments?
No, I mean, I guess I am concerned that it is kind of a crossing of a wetland without a permit. I get that it's kind of not really doing a disturbance, but I guess, and it is kind of for the greater benefit that, you know, these vehicles aren't going in the brook. But I think there should have been some filing.
What sort of filing would have been appropriate in this case?
I think based on the proximity, the notice of intent would be the way to go. You know, it's also making sure that, yes, while it is crossing a small brook, you want to make sure that the ends are actually still not in the BVW that's associated with the brook. So that's something to take into consideration as well.
Hey, Mark, when did this go in? When was the bridge built?
Close to a year ago.
Here, okay.
Yeah, maybe not quite a year. Probably early spring. Maybe February, March.
Okay.
But there was actually something else there even before that. So this just kind of fixed it up, made it a little safer for the kids.
So I'll ask again, what's the commission's pleasure on this?
Before we get too far, my big hesitation for filing, like I said, is as soon as it becomes jurisdictional and it's deemed jurisdictional, that's outstanding resource water. So I don't see how it doesn't turn into a MIPA filing over what is basically a tree fort.
So then should it be there in the first place? Like, DCR should have approved something regardless of what it is?
I mean, by rights, every dock that goes into Turkey Hill Pond and Demon Pond is essentially the same. And there's really no, I didn't do much with that letter because I just got it, but I was going to dig through the Wetlands Protection Act to kind of better answer this question. But just off the top of my head, I don't know how I file without it turning into a MIPA filing. I don't know what exemption I could put it under, whether it be temporary or some sort of crossing for forestry or some sort of dock exemption. I'm not sure if there is a dock exemption. I don't know. I'd have to really read through it. That's why it's without a filing. It certainly makes it. The basis of no disturbance is. If I can't find something better, I'd have to go with that. But I'm all ears if someone knows it better than me off the top of their head and knows of an exemption that I could throw it under.
Yeah, I'm not sure with the DCR. I'm not as familiar with their exemptions. I mean, does anyone else have an opinion on the bridge?
Unless I commit that it's temporary, the one thing having kids teaches you is time flies, and they'll be bored. They'll be bored down there soon enough, and it won't last long. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
But it would crush them if I had to take it out right now. That's for sure.
I think, unless someone has a better idea, I'd like to punt this to the next meeting. Because I don't think we have a good solution. I think Mark wants to dig in a little bit to see where he might be able to get whatever exemptions exist.
And if in the meantime, if anyone on the commission has an idea, please, feel free to give me a ring or shoot me an email. But I'll dig through it, do my best.
Yeah, I'll look through too and see, what exactly this might better fall under in terms of like an actual wording or action.
Yeah, Mark, I admit this one's tricky for me because I see the point of wanting to protect the wetlands, which you've done, or protect the stream. And I also understand wanting to avoid getting involved with DCR as much as possible.
Yeah, I really didn't want
regulation.
Not only DCR, but it opens up as soon as I file, it opens up the filing to DEP and then soon after MEPA.
Right.
As soon as you claim disturbance and that it's jurisdictional, it goes down the hill from there.
Right.
Mark, do you know the exact trigger MEPA threshold that relates to outstanding resource waters? I'm trying to look it up myself.
Certainly anything like in them and not in the buffer, you automatically trigger, I think.
I did see
thought it was only if you're over that 5,000 square feet.
So there is one that if you alter 1,000 square feet or more.
But I thought there was no threshold for outstanding resource water. The minute you're in the resource, you're automatically in MEPA.
I don't think so.
I thought I got dragged through that on Campbell Street a few years back.
Okay. I'd have to double check. I'm looking through it quickly now.
I could have been told that and not done my homework and mistakenly filed, but I did have to go through that process on Campbell Street, I don't know, 7-8 years ago. We had a very small crossing that just touched the wetland, but the wetland was outstanding resource water, so we ended up in MEPA. But like I said, I could be wrong. We could have mistakenly filed. I was hoping for a dock exemption, and I looked at that quickly today, but everything's written around like big giant permanent piers, so I didn't see a good dock exemption, although I know no one files around the ponds in town. And those get put in every year. Because really, really, this is no more than a dock.
Yeah, I don't think you'd looking at the quick review of the thresholds of MEPA under wetlands. It's really if you're just altering more than an acre, or if you need a variance from the Wetlands Protection Act, which would be over the 5,000 square feet. Dams, Chapter 91. And then alteration of 500 feet or more of bank, the 5,000 square feet of UUW, new filler structure or expansion of existing filler structure.
How about Zone A, outstanding resource water?
It doesn't say anything specifically about the Zone A, under wetlands at least.
No, but it might be under watershed. In fact, it would be under watershed.
Yeah, I think you're right, Peter. I think that's where I got tripped up a few years back.
I don't see anything underwater, but I'll look through it some more instead of just going
Yeah.
right now. But
The path I seem to remember is because it's outstanding resource water. It's considered Zone A. That's what it was defined as Zone A, and that's what triggered it.
it's alteration of 1,000 or more square feet of outstanding resource water.
Oh, I could be wrong. Then it's like I said, it's several years ago. Maybe I was over 1,000.
Yeah, under wetlands, it's BC 5. So as long as you're under that 1,000, I don't think it need a MIFA.
And that's not 1,000 feet, Mark.
It's 1,000 feet of disturbance, yeah. So I'd be under that. But I mean, regardless, either way, I'm not too interested in filing and opening that can of worms. So I'm really trying to tuck it into an exemption.
All right, I'm gonna push this to next meeting. We'll continue.
No offense, but once I file it, even if you guys want to approve it, it's somewhat out of your hands between DCR and DEP.
Yeah, right. So we'll pick this up. We'll let you guys all do your research and figure out what the next best step is. Okay?
In the meantime, I would encourage you to take a look at it because it really is just a tree fort.
Yeah, I'll swing by, Mark, because I live close enough to there.
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
you can see it from the street. You know what I mean? It's
Okay.
There's nothing to it. So, all right, thank you, folks.
All right, thanks. So moving on, emergency certification for beaver removal from Noble Hill. I actually had tried to talk to Lynn, who's the admin for the Board of Health, but she was unfortunately, as also admin of the building department, in a meeting with the building group, all the inspectors. So I haven't found out the current status of this, which is what I hope to come with today. But I'll keep you all apprised. Tamika will just carry this one forward, and we'll hopefully in early January know what the heck they're hopefully they're done and we're done. Does anyone else? So we agreed last time to sign the emergency cert, right? As a commission, that I would do the signing, but basically on behalf of the commission. Do I remember correctly?
No, we were going to wait for the Board of Health to see if it was actually necessary. Because it's only good for 30 days.
Right. Okay. So continue this forward. I'll call Lynn tomorrow and probably the health agent and close this one. And I'll send email to folks with a status update, not for discussion. Okay, moving on to the certificate of compliance for Heifer. Which ought to be, come here, is that you? So we have documentation on this. And also, Melissa, why don't you just give us a verbal feedback of what you sent in the email, readback of what you sent in the email, please.
Yeah, so on Friday, I met with Ryan at the site to try and figure out what this order of conditions was for. I think like in the email that's on the screen says that there was no approved plan that was written like on the order of conditions in that specific spot. So I wouldn't be surprised if there wasn't an actual plan kind of used for this. From what I pieced together, it looked like it was just extending or kind of maybe more formalizing the access way between the main Heifer building and the Overlook Farm area. So there is a vernal pool on one side. There's a culvert underneath that connects kind of to a wetland system on the other side of this access road. And the only conditions that they were really concerned about in the order was that no additional water going to the vernal pool and the culvert be extended. And after I was out there, I'm assuming it meant extended it further to either side and not necessarily making the culvert bigger. The pipe that is there, is in good condition. It's definitely set off from the sides of the road. It's the roadway itself isn't being degraded. It's in pretty good condition. It's just a dirt road, but it's very well maintained in the sense that it's not muddy, even right now with all the snow and everything. So I'm not worried about the vernal pool nor the wetland on the other side. So I didn't find anything that would make the commission not issue the complete COC.
Gosh, we'll see if this ever stops repainting.
Yeah, so that purple is kind of like the access road, and then there's the culvert across, and that blue star is the vernal pool.
Right.
So it's really simple. Nothing of concern that I saw.
Great. So we just need to sign the COC then, right?
Right.
Peter, if I may, Stephen is on the call, and Steve, I just wanted to confirm the address where you would like me to mail the COC.
Hi, this is Steve. Yeah, I think the best place, it's a good question.
I think, I'm sorry, this is Teresa Belmonte. I'm a colleague of Steve's, Tamika.
Hi, Teresa.
Hi there. If you, is it possible to, actually, we're selling it to Ryan, and it might be best to send it to his attorney, but I can email you that information if that's okay with you.
Yeah, that would be great. Basically, whoever is going to be bringing it to the registry of deeds to get it filed would probably be the best person, because I'll be sending out the original.
Yeah, I think that would be actually Ryan's attorney will be filing it.
Okay, yeah, if you don't mind emailing that to me, that would be great.
That'd be great. Thank you so much.
Oh, no problem.
And
Thank
I
you.
thank Melissa for going out there in advance of our of tonight.
Anytime.
All right, I would like a motion, please, to sign the Heifer Project International Certificate of Compliance, allowing me to sign on behalf of the entire commission.
So moved. Oh,
It's all right.
Second.
Go for it.
you called us out, Peter.
Yes, I create more problems than I solve. That's the way I like to look at it. Roll call. Gentilucci.
Aye.
Danza.
Aye.
Clark.
Aye.
Crane, aye. All right. This. Let me close that. Now I think. Oh no, we have a follow-up to Brice Lemon Estates. Aye. All right, so at our last meeting, we discussed the letter that Brice had sent based on my site walk, and how that did not jibe well with Melissa's and Jared's recollection from their site walk and their pictures. So Jared and I went out on a site walk more than a week ago now, and we went to the specific sites, and it basically, what happened was that I didn't look far or deep enough to find all the problems that you folks saw. They did a good job cleaning up the parts that they cleaned up, but they should have gone farther and wider to actually clean up all the siltation. There's much more than I noticed. Mostly, I'm going to blame the leaves covering it for me not seeing it, and my own lack of curiosity for not going and investigating further. So I am still in the midst of writing a letter to Mr. Blair, copying Mr. Larson, talking about what we found. Jared and I agreed. Now this happened just before the previous snow, and we're about to get a whole lot more. So we know nothing's going to happen until springtime and the snow melts. And so the letter is basically going to say, we recognize there's still more to be done, and that the commission will come out for a visit when the snow is gone, to reevaluate and come up with sets of things we expect to be done, and for them to come up with a plan for that. That all sound right to people?
Yep, sounds good.
And Peter, in your defense, it was a lot harder to see it this time around with the leaves.
Well, that makes me feel a little better, but not that much better. But thank you for that.
I was just checking the dates. When Melissa and I went out, it was September 12th. So obviously the weather was much warmer then, and it was much more evident that day. You and I went out. It was December 4th in the afternoon that you and I met out there, and we were able to find it. But yeah, it was not as evident. But I knew where it was from before and checking my old pictures, so we were able to find those areas. But yeah, it's as you said. I think it makes sense that there's really not much that can be done at this point. It'll have to wait until spring.
Oh, and Melissa, I had boots on and I did get a little stuck in one spot. So I know what you were going through that day.
I came home real muddy.
All right, so I'll get that written, or I'll give Tamika a good outline of it for her to write, which would probably be faster anyway, so that we can send that out and just understand this is just going to be a continuous stuff for us to keep track of.
Peter, is it fair to say that we wouldn't necessarily need this as an agenda item then again until the spring when we revisit it?
Yes, I believe that's appropriate. So we just need a tickler to check it out and start looking at how the ground looks in March, and then we'll just sort of follow along with as the snow melts.
Okay, I'll set a reminder for myself, so I'll remember to put it on the agenda and then run it by you guys again.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome.
Although, Peter, do we want to add that in the meantime, they submit kind of a plan for snow melt ahead of spring to get ready for stabilization? Even if it's just literally, 6 bullet points of the steps that they'll take, when the ground starts to thaw.
What should those steps be?
I mean,
Should they set up? I'm sorry, go ahead. Let me not pollute your thinking.
I know it's difficult in Zoom. I mean, just as simple as, come the 1st of March, all erosion controls will, be thoroughly inspected and fixed as necessary. Any unstable slopes that were noticed kind of in the fall or winter as not having been stabilized yet shall be either hydroseeded or matted or, something like that to ensure that they're prepared for storms and spring dethaw. I mean, it could be as simple as, just start submitting your SWIP reports to us as well, and that would ensure that they're doing their erosion control monitoring.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah.
We could just ask for now, moving forward, please forward all SWIP reports to Tamika to forward out to us.
Alrighty, so yeah, it wouldn't be bad. I agree that'd be good to have them to act as reminders, if you will.
It gets them thinking now, and hopefully they won't be unprepared when they come up in spring.
Right. Okay. Other questions on Brice Lemon? Hearing none, moving on. Certificate of votes. Yes. Melissa, it's funny. I saw this come up about a day before Tamika said, hey, Melissa said, what about this? So why don't you introduce people to this notion?
So this is basically a document that we as a commission vote on, and then will get recorded at the Worcester Registry of Deeds. And we can do it multiple ways. The 2 common ones, I think this is the town of Hopkinton's. They're delegating the signature authority to their administrator for things that need wet signatures. And then as well, they also allowed for electronic signatures, which could just even be a picture of our signature that Tamika puts on the documents that can then be recorded at the Worcester Registry of Deeds. And all it takes above or below, our electronic signatures is just reference to the book and page of where this document is recorded. So it takes a lot of pressure off, hounding Peter for signatures and getting things out, so Tamika, once she's done with orders, can just simply send them off and kind of get them off her plate. I think the only thing that this isn't good for is like deeds, and if we are to sign CRs, like land court documents.
Right.
But other than
So-
that, all of our permits would be taken care of.
I'm all in favor of this. I had heard recently from the planning board, every year they submit electronic signature. They actually physically sign one piece of paper and get that registered, and that acts as their electronic signature. So, and the registry likes that because they don't need us to worry about ink signatures for most things. So let's be clear about something, that we have been doing things fine as far as the DEP is concerned with me signing on behalf of the commission, but the registry really, 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 really hates that.
Yeah, and this will be even nicer because through DEP, Tamika, when she goes into EDP, is basically already authorizing kind of that we issued the permit. So it kind of types in our signatures. So all she would have to do is at the top of that signature page, just write the book and page of where this document is recorded at the registry.
Right. So do we need to make a motion for this?
We do. We should do it off each one. It won't help us for this meeting. So,
No.
yeah. So what we could do, I'm doing this for Southborough. So I could easily kind of write up this document for Rutland, and we can vote with the actual completed document next time, if that makes more sense.
Nope, that's fine. That sounds great.
Okay. So I can definitely do that, just in the meantime, kind of giving the offer out there. It makes life so much easier. And I'm sure
I
to make
agree.
is a lot easier. So
Tamika,
Yes.
this is the very first thing on the next agenda.
You got
It's
it.
before any hearing, it's before any submission. This is number one.
I'm very excited about it. I think it's gonna make everybody's life easier, because honestly, I think we're in the long term here with the virtual meetings and things like that. And it just, it's one less thing for Peter to worry about, but then it's also, I can be more expedient in getting, everything taken care of and sent out. So that would
Yes.
be great. My only
I-
question is, who would the responsible party be to get it to the registry? And would that come out of our funds?
So it's $105 to get a document recorded at the registry. So that's what I was just going to bring up, is maybe starting the conversation with the town accountant of what they would need to get a check cut. Like, I'm not sure what the requirements are for our town, because I know it's like usually they need an invoice. But with this, it's not really an invoice. So maybe just start with the town accountant and see what they need, for kind of backup documentation to get the check cut. You can then mail it to the registry and they'll just send it back.
Okay. Oh, you can mail it. Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Perfect. I didn't know if you had to actually go down there. Great. Okay, that's perfect. I'll talk to Dan about that and see what he says. And then I'll check back in with you before I mail it, just to make sure I'm sending it to the right place and make sure it's done properly. Thank you for telling us about this.
Now, there is going to be some turnaround, some time between when we mail that and when we can reference. We won't know the book and page until the Registry of Deeds responds. Or actually, they will actually send us back a stamped copy, right, Melissa?
Yeah, and they've been really good. I've been about a week turnaround mailing in. So they are doing pretty fast. I mean, and if it comes down to we need to bring it to the registry, I think you can call, make appointment, and go in, and we can just have it that day.
Yeah, I'm not so worried about that unless we want to use the electronic approach at our next meeting.
Yeah. I mean, I think if we have the extensions for the others for the 21 days and they're, okay with it not necessarily being recorded until we have that back. As long as we kind of get it out the day after the meeting, it should be back in a week.
Mm-hmm. All right, so that's fine. Then we will wait for next time. We'll approve it as a commission and we'll start moving forward with electronic signatures. Only, what, 6 months later than we should have, probably.
It's a new day, guys. It's a new day.
That's right. Welcome to the 21st century, everybody.
Is this something we would have to do once a year, or how long is this in effect for?
This is good until something in, like, if we need to add something, like we get a wetlands bylaw, then we would change it to incorporate the wetlands bylaw.
Okay, so it's basically good in perpetuity unless we need to make an adjustment to it.
Yep.
Well,
Oh,
it
great.
won't, my gut tells me, this is just a gut feel here. Planning board does it every year, which seems a little overkill, but they have an election to at least one seat every year. So again, I'm going to go back with my gut tells me they're going, because we can get a seat, actually 2 seats changed each year. We would certainly need to do it if any seats change. We would have to refile.
Peter, that raises a question. What about,
I don't think that might be the case with Concom, because planning board has to sign like subdivision plans, so it's their actual signature that they care about. And then this is just kind of it's the commission as a whole. Like the fundamentals of both boards are slightly different,
Yes,
and the regs that they go under are slightly different. And I know planning board is very specific on the people signing, while the commission is more just the majority of people.
okay, that was my question, Melissa, because I know like with Joe and Eric, we wouldn't be required to get their signatures on this as well, right? It would just be, because I think it's required of 4 signatures we need.
Right. So I think as long as the vote of the majority of the commission approves this document, whoever votes in the affirmative, or whoever's at that meeting should be the only signatures on there.
Mm-hmm.
It is interesting in that even if they're not at a meeting, or even if they vote no on a project, they can still sign the order of conditions because only a majority of the signatures need to be on there. So I would leave off Joe and Eric, if they're not here, because obviously they haven't partaken.
Yeah.
So I would still
Maybe we
just
should
put
touch base with Phil too, because I don't know, this is the 3rd meeting he hasn't been to, so I don't know if he's kind of stepping back like the others did, or if he would want to be included in this. I don't know what your feelings are, Peter, on that.
Yeah, I definitely like you to reach out to Bill to see what's going on with him, because I just want to understand.
Yeah.
I'm absolutely not going after one of those, oh, you haven't been here, oh, shame on you kind of.
Sure.
I just want to know I just want to understand what he's going through so we know what to expect.
Right. Absolutely. Yep, I can reach out to him.
Great. All right. Anything else on this topic? Nope. Concept plan, Rutland Heights. Okay, there's a reason all this comes up there. I don't know how much you folks follow in-town news, but at the former Rutland Heights Hospital, which has its own bylaw, which defines it, in fact, its own zoning bylaw that defines it as the Heights Planned Development District. When somebody reached an agreement with the RDIC to use the property, the project goes before the HPDD review board. Such a project has been proposed, and in fact, there's a proposal to purchase sections of the property. So the property is larger than this. The area they created 4, what we're going to call zones, because they're not laid out as plots, and there's no formal survey yet. So this is Maple Ave, and Rutland Heights Way goes up towards the middle school and up to Naquag. This area that they're calling Zone A is obviously one plot of land. There's another one called Zone C. Zone C actually goes from Maple Ave all the way to Rutland Heights Way. This Zone B is left open for future development. And Zone D over here is the solar plan that we've all been through now. This is a preliminary concept plan for what they want to do, which is a senior housing project with roughly, I'm just going to abbreviate to say 40 duplex units about. The approval process from a zoning point of view is entirely within the HPDD review board, but all the other applications that they make, all the other work they need to do, because this is a wetlands, well, this is the 100-foot line, they need to go through the normal permitting process. So it is, I mean, we'll see what their final plan looks like or what their next generation plan looks like to see what they're planning to do, but we are virtually certain, we, the Conservation Commission, are likely to be involved with, I can't say if it's going to be just an RDA to show that all the work is outside the 100, or if they're going to go, if they'll keep this basin in the 100 and therefore have to go through an NOI. I don't know exactly what they're going to go for. I just want to introduce this concept of an idea of a plan that Colonial, what's the name of the company? Colonial Homes?
Harbor Classic Homes.
Harbor Classic. I don't know where Colonial comes from. I'm sorry. Harbor Classic Homes will submit to the HPDD review board, who will then submit it to a bunch of boards in town. Questions? None. Great. Come on. There we go. Ethics and open meeting law training. I'm gonna be the heavy. Somebody has to be the guy, though I have to find. That's the one. Now this is probably the wrong one because this is from the cable committee, but everybody should have gotten a reminder from Damian Bartek, who is the assistant town town clerk, that we are all obligated to periodically take ethics and open meeting law training. And after you take the training, it's all online. There's a good website to go to take the training. After you take the training, you get a certificate that you need to print out and get to the town clerk's office. So what does it mean? Here's the question I'm asked a lot. So what happens if we don't do that? The answer is, besides the fact you'll keep getting nags from people, is probably nothing unless something happens. If an open meeting law complaint were filed against the commission, or an ethics complaint were filed against an individual member or the commission as a whole, I think not having the training opens, because there's documentation that you've been notified you need to take it. I think that the ethics board and the open meeting law folk would look on it very unkindly if you didn't have the training when something came in. Most of the time, at least the ones I've seen, most of the time, it's, hey, you screwed up, take the training again. Sometimes it's a small fine. Occasionally it's a big fine. I actually know a Conservation Commission member who had an ethics complaint filed, and that person was told you can either pay a $10,000 fine or you can resign the commission. I don't want that to happen. So please, pretty please, and you notice I even have to take it in another month anyway. Please take the training, get your certificates into Anita or Damien. Other questions? Did anybody not get this email?
I didn't get it, Peter.
You didn't?
No, I didn't. This was news to me.
You're not a board member.
Oh, man. That's true, but you would think with all the boards that I work for that they would require me to take that.
I think it's a good idea for you to take it, but I don't believe there's actually a requirement.
I want to say that I remember taking it at some point.
Yeah,
in the 3 years I've been
you're probably
here.
just up at a different time.
Okay, that must be what it is. Well, I'm not going to borrow trouble then. Don't mind me.
Peter, I did get the email from Damien, but then she actually followed up with me with the subsequent email. They had, I think my certificate was in another folder and they had found it. And she said, I'm actually all set through
Okay.
September 1st of next year. So I won't have to do it for a little bit longer.
Okay.
I did mine twice.
I was going to say, how many different times have you done that, Melissa, now?
Twice, because then Southborough sent it to me right after I X'd out of the window.
Right. And Skip, I know you did it for, well, whatever. Whether you did it enough of the select board, I'm not even going to ask the question. I'm going to say the same thing I said before. Please, let's not open ourselves up to problems. And I'm done nagging people on this. Right.
We'll get it done.
Excuse me. Excuse me, I apologize.
Bless you.
Thank you. So, and also sign the conflict of interest law paper. That's it. I'm done talking about that. Moving on, Bigelow Village. Okay, this is something that came up very recently. If you take Maple Ave south out of the center of town, not very far down on your left, there is a trailer park called Bigelow Village. They recently put in a building permit, and that caused me to ask questions because they attached no documentation with the building permit. I was asking questions like, where is this thing? The owner of and I have exchanged a couple emails, and she sent, I'll just start with this, a JPEG of the scan of her copy of the plan. So Maple Ave, this is Lewis Street, this is Lantern Lane. By the way, nobody knows where the heck the plans are. The official signed plans. So let me zoom in a bit. Let me show you what they're doing. Okay. So here you see wetlands. Here you see number 8. This is a trailer park. This is a mobile home park. It's what it is. And so there is no construction. The land work was done a long time ago now. This, I think the plan was finalized in 07. And so they're replacing this unit. So it's literally pick it up, get rid of it, and plop a new one down, get rid of the wheels, and it's in place. So there is no ground disturbance whatsoever. Okay, I didn't mention they connect to the utilities. Okay. So my big question is, do they need a filing for this when they're not doing any work, any disturbance, even though they're close to the wetland?
My opinion would be no.
I would agree. I'm just looking at the oh my God, exemption for, I think it's replacing, might have an exemption.
Hmm.
Sorry if you can hear my husband
It's
yelling
fine.
in the background. Um, let's see. I would say no if I can find this stupid exemption.
Or two, Melissa. I think you're right. If there's no ground or earth disturbance, I would agree. I don't think a filing would necessarily be required.
There's no groundwork and there's no construction on site.
Okay.
Yes. So, and utilities are also covered in that exemption.
Okay, so I will, I'll go into viewpoint and approve that. She'll be very happy. I also told her I will actually probably want to do a site walk when spring comes. If the wetland line is from 2005, which I think it is, then I have no idea how close they even are now, because I've been told there's well, I won't say that. I will say that the wetland maps, the maps from DEP don't even show this as wetlands, but that's their approximation. So I don't know that I would have them remap at this point, reflag, but I at least want to take a look at it to get a better idea of what this looks like and the condition of this outflow from their isolator. But that's for future. We'll talk about that when spring comes. So any questions about this?
Nope.
Moving on, FY22 budget. So budget season is upon us. I just wanted everybody to know we were directed to fund with level services our budget. And I basically put in the same budget this year that we had last year. There are, the way that salaries work for Tamika is a little bizarre to me, but whatever, I don't need to worry about that. I just wanted to say it's in, we've asked for the same stuff. And if they ask us to cut, it won't be the first time they've asked us to cut a budget. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. Questions on that? Next, the Master Plan Steering Committee. Who here knows what a master plan is?
Yes.
I knew you'd know. I know Skip has an idea because he's been talked to about it a lot lately.
Yep.
I know too, Peter. Does that count?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You always count, Tamika.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, so the town has gotten a grant and is supposed to toss in a little bit of its own money to do several chapters of a new master plan. Our master plan has not been updated since 2000. So yes, it's 20 years old. Planning board is in charge of the master plan by law, by the way. And where it gets a little fuzzy is that they have an open space and recreation piece that I don't know how it fits in or goes along with our open space and recreation plan that we're going to be working on next year. By the way, Tamika, please put open space and recreation, open space committee on our agenda for next meeting.
Got it.
Because I want to finalize the size so we can start advertising for it. But for the master plan, I've been asked to provide someone to attend to be a Concom representative to the steering committee, the master plan steering committee. Current ideas are to meet about once a month. So this is not a big time commitment. This is not writing the master plan. This is just acting for guidance for what should go into it. So do I have, I'll ask for a volunteer first.
I can.
You're so enthusiastic, Melissa.
Unless I'm currently doing master plan in Southborough, and I just think about the 27 member committee that they have, and it makes me want to cringe.
No, they're looking for like 7 to 9.
Okay, that's nice.
And again, this is the steering committee. They're not doing the writing, so hopefully it won't be bad. So I think I'd like a motion to nominate Melissa to the master plan steering committee.
So moved.
Second.
Awesome. Let's have a vote. Gentilucci,
Aye.
Danza,
I
with regrets, I know. Clark,
Aye.
Crane, aye. Done.
Melissa, you're a good sport.
know.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.
We appreciate it.
So you're going to know Norm Anderson too. Everybody should know Norm. He's the chair of the planning board. Finally, at least finally on our freaking long agenda tonight. 2 days ago, I went to the town administrator and said, 2 days? Might have been just yesterday. Holy cow. I went to and said, please, I don't care. I'll pay for it. I just want a damned email address to the Conservation Commission. And they somehow freed up email addresses. We have a limited number of email addresses per our license with Microsoft. But they freed 2 up and they gave us one. We are now conservation@townofrutland.org. I'm so happy with this. I have asked the town administrator to change our contact info away from Tamika, with no offense to Tamika, but it all ought to go to the Concom email. I'm also asking that everyone, whenever you send an email about any Concom business, you include conservation@townofrutland.org, please. Tamika and I both have the password. I am going to be changing, at least I've asked that all the viewpoint, right now the Earthworks board gets 2 emails when I need to approve something. I get both the Earthworks board viewpoint review and, or approval, and the Conservation Commission. I'm asking that the Conservation Commission approvals get put onto Concom's email. So that's really it about the email. It's there. We finally have one. We're going to start publicizing it as I did tonight. I'm going to make that the central contact point for the public rather than direct to Tamika's email addresses. And there's also, I was having some troubles earlier with Google Drive, and I'm not anymore. So I'm going to delay anything about OneDrive and using a OneDrive instead of a Google Drive for our communications. But I do have a question. Does anyone here not have an email address that resolves to Microsoft in some way? Could be Outlook, could be Outlook.com, MSN.com, Hotmail. I forget what all of them are. Does anyone not have a Microsoft email address?
Want some food?
I guess I just have Gmail.
You just have Gmail, okay.
Yeah,
And that's
Peter,
what I got, Gmail.
Peter, I do because I have a OneDrive through work, but
Okay.
I would not want to use that. I have Gmail as my Concom email address.
All right. So again, I'm not asking what to do. Google Drive is giving me fits because I don't have a Google email address, but I got through it today, so we're going to keep doing it. OneDrive is the same problem. You really can't use it unless you've got a Microsoft-based email address. And I'm not going to ask everybody to change it. Anybody who's got a townofrutland.org email address has a Microsoft email address. But I'm not going to continue going on about OneDrive unless it becomes necessary. And as long as Google plays nicely, it won't be necessary. That is it for everything I had on the agenda. Is there any other business to come before the commission tonight? And the answer is yes, there is. I should have done this at the very top. Last week, Cleve Blair Sr. passed away. I'd like a moment of silence for him, because we know that he and the commission did not, how can I say this, always see eye to eye. But there is no question that he was a great mover in this town, and he's done a lot for the town of Rutland. And if for no other reason than that, I'd like a moment of silence for Cleve Blair Sr. All right, now I'll ask, is there any other business to come before the commission this evening? I'm happy to say I was wrong. This is not even 2 hours tonight. I'd like a motion to adjourn, please.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call. Gentilucci.
Aye.
Danza.
Aye.
Clark.
Aye.
Crane, aye. Thank you all so very much. This is a fascinating meeting tonight.